is, and you have to find it out. You have to find that thing that you have been called and destined to do with your life. I know that the purpose of my life involves leadership and empowering people to become the best and greatest version of themselves so that they can serve the world around them. I feel like if you don't know your purpose, the greatest thing you can do is to live a life in service. Because as you live a life in service, that service is going to bring awareness and awakening in you to gifts and talents and things that you didn't even know that you have. I was having a conversation a few days ago with someone, and I was telling them how, and people do not believe this when I say it, but it is the truth. And I had somebody there that could verify it. I said that many of the things that I'm doing today, I would have never done years ago. I did not like and still do not like spotlights and platforms and all of that stuff. I would much rather be behind the scenes. That's just my natural inclination. But when I really began to discover my purpose and the magnitude of the mission of my life, it forced me out of that comfort zone of being behind the scenes. All of a sudden, the person that was in the back in the corner is on the forefront, and it was very uncomfortable, and at moments it's still uncomfortable to me, but it's what I was put here to do. And they said, I just couldn't see that because I just see you out front and doing all of these things. And I say, you see that because it is an evolution, and you're meeting a different version of me. You didn't meet that version. But you have to start the journey. So many times we're trying to figure out all the pieces and all the intricacies of our lives and our destiny. You could have never told me that I would be doing the things I'm doing today, that I would be impacting the people I'm impacting and doing the type of work that I'm doing around the world. But I just trusted the process and took the journey, and it led me here. And so I believe if you would just get going, things will begin to be uncovered and unraveled for you in the midst of you taking the action. A meaningful life is a life lived beyond the shores of comfort and convenience. And so a lot of times our lives are not changing. We're not experiencing the breakthroughs that we want to see in our lives because we will not leave our comfort zone. And as I told you in the last episode, 2023 has challenged me on every level imaginable. If there was ever a year that I have been forced all the way out of my comfort zone, this is that year. And, because I set very big goals and very lofty goals this year, and I have hit a lot of them already, and we're only halfway through the year. But it took a lot of courage and a lot of action, and I just had to do it. And I think a lot of times the thing that is really holding us back is this comfort and convenience. And you're not going to get to the next level. You're not going to be expanded in your capacity. You're not going to be fulfilled until you step outside of your comfort zone. Most people have been content with living a comfortable and a convenient life. We like it. It doesn't inconvenience us. It doesn't require a lot of us. But the problem with this is that comfort and convenience will never produce the change or the breakthroughs that you want to see in your life. In fact, comfort and convenience will only constrict you to cycles of frustration and failure. How do I know this? Because I'm not telling you what I researched or Googled. I'm telling you what I've lived. And when you don't step outside of your comfort zone, you will continue to experience cycles of frustration and failure in your life. And there are people that will say, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And I will tell them this simple phrase that I always say: if you do the same, you get the same. If you do different, you get different. What different thing are you going to do that's going to change the direction of your life? And people clap and they're like, that's so profound, but they don't do anything. And so I come in contact with that person a year later, 2 years later, they're in the exact same spot that I left them in. Why? Because they will not do the thing that is going to move their life to the next level. And in order for that to happen, you have got to step outside of your comfort zone, and you got to be willing to do something different. Whatever this season is demanding of you, answer that demand with action. Let me say it again. Whatever this season of your life is demanding of you, answer that demand with action, and I guarantee you that your life is going to change for the better. A constricted life is a powerless life, and a constricted life is a conflicted life. Write that down. A constricted life is a conflicted life, and the world is filled with conflicted people. You can go in a store. You can sit beside them on an airplane. You can run into them in the supermarket. People are so conflicted. And when I see a conflicted person, it lets me know that they don't have clarity in their lives. And you got to have clarity. You don't have to have clarity about everything, but you got to have clarity about something. Let me say it again. You don't have to have clarity about everything, but you do have to have clarity about something. And some people don't have clarity about anything in their lives. You got to get some clarity. That means that you got to shut the noise off, and you got to get quiet, and you got to listen, have those divine conversations, listen for the whispers of eternity. Begin to step outside of this dimension and step into the next dimension. Step into your true self and who you really are and who you've been created to be. A lot of our lives are just too noisy and distracted. Social media, our phones are constantly ringing, text messages are going off. Sometimes you got to cut all of that off, and you just got to get quiet. And you know I'm a man of faith. You got to have a conversation with God. I need some clarity about my life. There are some things that are just out of order with my life, and I feel like this is just a chaotic situation, and I need some solutions. And as you begin to cut the noise off, you begin to be able to hear with clarity, and you can hear your own voice again, and you can begin to make those necessary decisions and changes that you need to make in your life. And so as we delve deeper into this new and exciting series, Think, and to assess your life, I want you to assess your life so that you can alter your life and awaken to the life that you've been created to live. Assessment is so important. Assessment is something I do all the time, because assessment gives us the ability to determine what's working and what's not working about our lives. Assessment is so important. Even as we were crossing into the third quarter, there were some assessments that I had to make about some things in my life. Is this really working, or is this not working? Is this something that I need to remove from my life? Is this something that I need to increase in my life? What decisions do I need to make? And so I'm always assessing things. You have to assess, because if you're not assessing, then it lets me know that you're not progressing and you're not growing. You're staying stuck. And so take the time to assess your life and where you are in your life so that you can be more effective. Assessment requires reflection and demands that you take personal responsibility. And I think this is one of the reasons that so many people don't like to assess their lives, because it is going to take reflection. And so, as you heard me say, a lot of my 2023 goals have already been hit, and there are some that I'm still going for in the second half of this year. But even in that, there is still a level of reflection. How did I execute on so many of those things already? What did I learn in the process? What mindsets and tools helped me to do that? And what adjustments do I need to make for the second half of the year to be even greater than the first half? So that requires reflection, and it also requires responsibility. I have to take responsibility for my life, for my actions, for my habits, and how they are ultimately shaping and deciding my destiny and my future. From personal experience, I can tell you that familiarity is the enemy of freedom and the thief of fulfillment. Write that down. From personal experience, I can tell you that familiarity is the enemy of freedom and the thief of fulfillment. So you can't afford to allow familiarity to become an enemy to your destiny, your future. You got to continually expand your mindset and your capacity to embrace change at a different level. I believe that one of the greatest challenges of leadership in the 21st century is to get leaders that understand the importance of embracing change. I talk to so many executives and leaders that are just content on doing things one way. This is the way we've always